Thank you, Adam, and good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. Christine Zwakor, and I am excited to introduce you to my company, Cyber PopUp. I want to start with a quick question. How did you spend your favorite New Year's Eve? Were you maybe out to eat at a bar, maybe partying with friends? Those are all typical ways to spend a New Year's Eve, at least before 2020. Now, come back to me for a second. I know some good memories are probably coming up, but I'm going to tell you about Chris's atypical New Year's Eve. While you were out, maybe popping bottles of champagne, enjoying life, Chris was at home stressed out because they were about to fail a cybersecurity audit. They had run into credit card issues, and basically, if they didn't fix these issues by the end of the year, they could no longer accept credit cards and business would essentially shut down. And so talk about pressure on this technology professional. And so Chris was up all night into the early morning working to fix these issues alone. And the reality is that whether it's New Year's Eve or Christmas, Thanksgiving, 4th of July, or just a random Tuesday, hackers take no days off. And if hackers don't take days off, that means cybersecurity professionals can't either. And so what can they do about it? Well, this issue happens because cybersecurity teams are understaffed and overwhelmed. With 76% of companies experiencing a breach in the last few years, you'd think this would be an area that most companies would invest heavily in, right? Well, they're willing to, but part of the problem is 75% of companies report struggling to find cybersecurity experts. Most companies don't have a cybersecurity team in-house, and that's a problem because whether your server was hacked or you failed an audit or your latest software update is vulnerable, cybersecurity is serious business. It's also highly specialized. So when you think about how companies are solving this problem today, why would you go to a traditional freelance platform like Upwork, for example, to find security professionals in the same place that your marketing team is shopping for graphic designers? They're not vetted, nor are they specialized in this field. On the other end, why would you go to a traditional consulting firm that would take you through a sales process, never mind solving the problem, but a sales process that lasts months when you needed somebody for the job like yesterday? So that's where we come in. Cyber PopUp connects you to vetted experts in a fraction of the time and at a time when you need it the most. So on our platform, you're able to submit a project request and connect with the success manager as soon as the same day. We work with the freelancers to make sure that all of your requirements are met. That way we ensure the highest level quality delivery while removing all of the headache of project management and coordination from you. Our pricing model is also super simple. Keep going, okay. Pricing model, super simple. We have a fixed price menu for some of the more popular projects that we tend to see across our customers. We have a recurring subscription option for people who want the ongoing monthly support. And then we have a very flexible rent an expert option for people who want an expert to just come in for a few hours and dip right out. Our market requires little to no persuasion. So unfortunately, for every 100 small and medium-sized businesses, 30 will get breached and almost 20 will shut down as a result due to the cost to recover. And so when we think about the scale and magnitude of this issue, there are 30 million small and medium-sized businesses in the US. We are laser focused on the ones who feel this pain the most, and those are the ones who tend to be medium-sized companies. They have a tech team in-house or a tech resource, but they don't have a cybersecurity team in-house. These folks are begging for help, and that shows in some of the early traction that we've seen. So we've done over 6 figures in projects over the last year with everything from smaller companies like Netalytics in the healthcare space to billion-dollar companies like Dow Jones, all with a 100% satisfaction rate. The industry is paying attention, which has been exciting. So we were announced as recipients of the Google for Startups Black Founder Fund. We were industry disruptor finalists at the Momentum Awards here in Chicago. We're also semifinalists for the CEO International Capital Program, which we'll find out in the next couple of weeks if we get that. So wish us luck. And so the bottom line is that there's exciting things happening at Cyber PopUp, right? But that's not all we care about. We also care about social impact. So our model inherently does good in the world by removing barriers to entry for underrepresented groups within cybersecurity. So we're intentionally building a diverse cybersecurity talent pipeline of the future. And that's what the world needs right now with so many attacks happening. Now, let's return back to our friend Chris and that very stressful New Year's Eve. That was not a fictitious story. I am Chris Christine. My friends call me Steen. And that is how I rang in my 2015 New Year's Eve. And so I know what it's like to be in the trenches, but I also enjoy that, quite honestly. I'm obsessed with the cybersecurity industry. That's proven in my background. I was the youngest student and first African-American woman to earn a PhD in security engineering. I have over a decade of Fortune 100 experience in the industry as well. And so with that, I've been able to pull together a strong team of leaders and advisors who have a combination of over 70 years of experience between business and technology. And we're all working tirelessly towards this vision, which is to become the most trusted freelancer platform for cybersecurity services and empower technology leaders at SMBs all around the world to maybe, just maybe, enjoy a champagne toast at midnight after all. Thank you all.
Great job. I wanted to open it up to the judges first, see if there are any questions from the judges.
I have a quick question. First off, great presentation. I would love to know more about, you mentioned that you've already started working with some companies. What's your market plan? How are these companies going to find you? What's the, what's that strategy?
Yeah, sure. So our market plan has been two different channels. One is through SEO marketing. So within cybersecurity, of course, thought leadership and content is king, especially because for small and medium-sized businesses, a lot of them aren't sure where to start and tend to try to do some research first. And so we have an entire strategy around content, thought leadership content, SEO, Google Ads. The Google for Startups program has been super helpful with their generosity there. And then the second piece is establishing strategic partnerships. So we're going to organizations and communities that already have a rich pool of our target customer base, and we're establishing partnerships with them. And those are conversations and deals that are happening already.
Awesome presentation, Christine. This is a massive market. You are onto something very big here. So stay focused and get excited. I have two quick questions for you.
Sure.
Number one is I went to your website, and your background and your security engineering degree and doctorate is wildly impressive. However, I didn't see anything else on any of the people that you're going to sub it out to. So I'd like to understand how you're vetting them and why I didn't see any certifications on there, because certifications are huge in this space. Can you comment on that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll share a little bit more about the vetting process first, and then answer the second half. So the way that we vet, yeah, of course. The way that we vet our freelancers is we have a very formal process. They come to the site, they submit an application where we request the typical information, your work history, education history. We do look at certifications, resumes, all of that stuff. We review those submissions. We work with the certification bodies to verify that the credentials are valid. If they make it past that phase, then they get to a video interview where we verify their identity. We make sure that they're a good culture fit for our freelancer community, and just get a sense of who they are, because that's really important to us as well. And then once they're through that phase, they get led into the community. And then in order to certify to perform a certain domain, like if somebody wants to do penetration testing, for example, or policies, for example, they then have to certify for that product. So we do a lot to make sure that the freelancers are qualified to do the work that that they're doing for clients. And then as far as advertising on the page, that's a good point. So we had started including spotlights on freelancers in the past, and just through kind of lessons learned and thinking about the fact that right now we have a huge wait list of freelancers, and so we're being very careful about how we promote and publicize that. But long story short, we have a very strong vetting process for them.
I wanted, though, my follow-up question was also on the certifications. What you're selling, as you know, is trust in this space and competency. Right. And competency is based upon certifications, your doctorate, your computer engineer, or your security engineering degree. Do you have a plan on how you're going to do that? People want to know that whoever's working on their network is certified, whether that's CompTIA, whether it's a CSP. Just help me understand your thoughts there.
Yeah, absolutely. So trust is going to be like huge in this space, right? I remember very early on when I, mentioned this idea of freelancing and cybersecurity, we were met with a lot of skepticism because cybersecurity is such a critical area, right? And to me, like when I think about how much skepticism I'm sure people had when they thought about using an app to, book a room to sleep on somebody's couch or to book to ride with a stranger, right? I feel like that
It's a crazy
skepticism,
idea. Crazy.
right? And so I feel like when I hear that, I get a little bit excited because I'm like, yes, I'm onto something that's a little bit nuts. But then there needs to be kind of guardrails, right, and things that we do to make sure that we're not exposing people to risk. And so for us, from a trust standpoint, it's really important to again do the vetting and do the background work. A part of our strategy when we talk about partnerships is going out to certification bodies to work with people who are already certified. But then the other piece is privacy is really important to us. So when you think about traditional freelance platforms, customers are essentially going out and posting projects saying, hey, I got hacked, or hey, I just failed an audit. You don't want to do that, right, in public. And so for us, it's important for us to maintain that privacy. Like we'll never do anything like that. Like our entire platform and process is very streamlined and very private to where only the minimum amount of people who need to be involved get to see that information and be involved also. And so I feel like there's a couple of there's more than that. I'm sure I might be over on my time, but there's a couple of things that we're doing just to make sure that we continue to build and maintain that trust because it's so important. And thankfully, we've gotten a ton of feedback from our early customers, and we've been able to learn from that and implement a lot of that feedback into our processes and evolve.
Great.
Well done.
All right, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Cyber PopUp.